AI agents are becoming the primary way customers interact with your product. Instead of logging into a dashboard, they're using agents to call your APIs, query your data, and trigger workflows through MCP servers. But when you're serving multiple enterprise customers through the same server, you have a hard requirement. Every customer's data, credentials, and permissions must be completely isolated. In this environment, a breach of isolation isn't just a bug, it's a liability. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build the architecture that solves this step by step. We'll be using two tools, Descope for identity and access control, and Bifrost as the gateway that enforces it. By the end, you'll see how to give every customer their own secure context that scales to any number of tenants, making onboarding a simple configuration task rather than a major engineering project. Most teams approach this the wrong way, not because they are careless, but because the problem only becomes visible once you have several customers. There are three common approaches. The first is a shared server, where all customers use the same infrastructure. This is simple to run, but there is no real boundary between users. Their credentials, data, and access levels are separated only by the logic your team writes and maintains, logic that can have bugs. The second is a dedicated server for each customer. While this solves the isolation problem, it means your ops team is managing dozens of separate environments. Every new customer becomes an infrastructure project. The third approach, and where most mature teams land, is a gateway. This provides a single entry point for all customers, routing them to the right place behind the scenes. But here's what a gateway alone cannot do. It can verify that a request is authenticated, but it cannot answer the question, which customer is this, and what are they allowed to access? Without a way to manage identity, that answer lives in your application code, which is a liability. When you add an identity layer, one that issues each customer their own access context while storing credentials in a vault, the gateway becomes genuinely enforceable. The identity layer decides what each customer can access, the gateway enforces it, and your application code no longer has to. Here is what we are building. We have a platform that gives AI agents access to three services: GitHub, Stack Overflow, and a weather API, all through a single MCP gateway. Two enterprise customers, Acme Corp and Globex Industry, both connect through the same gateway. Each has their own credentials for every service. The gateway needs to ensure that when Acme's agent calls a tool, it uses Acme's keys, and when Globex's does, it uses Globex's. If you want to follow along, sign up for Descope for free, link in the description. There are 5 steps to wire this up. First, register the MCP server in Descope. This defines what your service offers and who can access it. Second, create the credential vault, 1 entry per customer. Third, configure the sign-in flow. This is what loads each customer's API keys into the vault. Fourth, set up permissions and roles, your access control policy. And fifth, configure Bifrost, the service that reads everything and enforces it at runtime. Let's go. First, I register the MCP server in Descope. Navigate to Agentic Identity Hub, then MCP Servers. You give it a name, an ID is auto-generated. Add a description, and paste in your MCP server URL. This is the Bifrost gateway endpoint that the MCP server will sit behind. Then you define how clients register with this server. For this demo, I'm using access key authentication to keep it simple. In production, dynamic client registration lets agents like Clog Desktop auto-discover and register. Then define the scopes, the named capabilities your tools require. I'm creating 2, one for read access and one for admin access. These scope names are what appear in the JWT claims and what Bifrost uses for enforcement. Now for the credential vault. This is the piece that makes tenant isolation real. When I onboard a customer, I provision an API key for my service. Instead of storing those keys in config files or environment variables, I vault them in Descope connections. Click Add Connection, select the custom API key app template, give it a name and description, and save. Acme Corp gets their connection entry, and Globex gets theirs. Descope stores both with complete isolation. Acme's key is never visible to Globex's session. There's no shared credential and no lookup table in your code. Descope holds the boundary. Notice that from this console view, you can't paste the actual API key directly. The key gets loaded into the vault through the sign-in flow, which I'll show you in the next step. The third step is the sign-in flow. Using Descope's Visual Flow Designer is incredibly cool. You get a full bird's eye view of the logic as you build it. In the designer, you need to add an outbound connection action to the sign-in flow. This links authentication to the Credential vault. When a user logs in, this action fires, picks up their tenant ID and API key from the sign-in inputs, and vaults the key into their connection entry. First, make sure your sign-in screen has an API key input field. This is where the user provides their credentials at login, their email, and their API key for the service. Then, click Add Action, filter for Outbound, and select Outbound Connection Tenant API. Creating these paths visually makes the setup so intuitive. In the action configuration, set the outbound app to the connection name you created, one action per connection. Save the flow. Now, when a user authenticates, they provide their email and API key. The flow verifies their email via a magic link, then vaults the API key into their tenant's connection entry. That key is now securely stored, and Bifrost can fetch it at request time. Now, for step 4, access control. I'm defining permissions that map to the capabilities my MCP server exposes. I start with 2 permissions. Then I create roles that bundle these permissions. I assign the relevant permission to each role, then assign those roles to users within each tenant. When Descope issues a token for an Acme Corp user, their roles permissions are baked into the JWT claims. Bifrost reads those claims, and if the required permission isn't present, the request is denied before it ever reaches the backend. The decision happens at token issuance, so there is no runtime check to bypass. The gateway simply reads what Descope has already decided. Now for the Bifrost gateway configuration. This is where the tenant to credential wiring lives. The config defines Descope as the auth provider and maps each tenant ID to a virtual key, which Bifrost resolves to the real API key via Descope connections at request time. Acme Corp's tenant ID maps to their connection, and GlobeX's tenant ID maps to theirs. Bifrost reads the tenant claim from the Descope JWT and resolves the correct credential from the mapping. With 0 application code required, the gateway handles enforcement while Descope handles the token. Now wire up the test client. Point it at the Bifrost gateway URL and the Descope token endpoint. The client authenticates against Descope, gets a JWT with a tenant claim, and presents it to Bifrost. Bifrost validates the token, maps the tenant, fetches a credential, and routes the request. That is the full flow. Take our 2 tenants, Acme Corporation and GlobeX Industry. Each has a unique tenant ID. Those IDs are what get baked into the JWT when their users authenticate. The token doesn't just say this user is logged in. It says this user is logged in as part of Acme Corp specifically. I have a test user with access to both tenants, so I can demonstrate isolation by switching tenant context between test runs. Now let's run it. First, Acme Corp. The test client authenticates with Descope, specifying Acme's tenant ID. The JWT comes back with the Acme tenant claim. The client then sends a request to the Bifrost gateway. Bifrost reads the tenant claim for Acme Corp, validates the scope, and resolves Acme's API key from the connection vault. Finally, it routes to the backend and Acme's data is returned. Now for GlobeX. Same gateway URL, same Bifrost config, different tenant claim in the token, which means a different API key is resolved and different data is returned. Now for the isolation proof. I'll attempt a request using Acme's JWT, but I'll try to access a resource scoped to GlobeX. Denied. Acme's JWT carries Acme's tenant claim, and GlobeX's credentials aren't in scope for that token. Bifrost read what Descope decided at issuance and blocked it at the gateway. Quick aside, this took me a solid 2 weeks to research and test across all the edge cases. If it saved you some time, a like genuinely helps other developers find it. I'd appreciate it. We built this with 2 customers. What happens when you add a third? You call the Descope Management API. With just a few calls, you create the tenant in Descope, create their connections entry, and add them to the Bifrost config with their tenant to key mapping. That is 0 new auth code. The gateway config grows by 2 lines, and that's it. This is the architecture that scales, not because it's clever, but because the identity layer absorbs the complexity that would otherwise live in your application code. And this is just one backend server. You can add a second, a GitHub integration, a scheduling tool, or a document server. Register each in Descope, configure each connection in Bifrost, and then each new customer is just a handful of API calls. To recap, the Descope Agentic Identity Hub registers servers, defines scopes, and issues JWTs with tenant context. Connections vault unique API keys per tenant for isolation. Access is controlled by roles during issuance, with sign-in flows linking authentication to credentials. Finally, Bifrost enforces security at the gateway, reading claims, resolving credentials, and routing to the correct backend. Don't forget to like and subscribe.